All right. And we're live. Back with another video. All right. So, I'm going to do my first weekly review and game plan. I'll be reviewing some of my trades, my last weekly, my last game plan, and reviewing how that went. And then we'll move on to planning for this next week. So I'm just going to dive into what my analysis was last week. NQ, maybe we can make this, share this together. We can share and be friends. All right. NASDAQ. Let's look at the weekly candles. NASDAQ has actually displaced over highs now in the weekly. The daily doesn't look as nice, but there's nothing confirmed here to look bearish on the NASDAQ yet. If anything, there's a long-looking type of price action on NASDAQ, whilst the other two are diverging a bit at the same time, though. There are equal highs on NASDAQ. Okay. Took out on the higher time, so be mindful of that. So be mindful of that as I look for longs. Relative equal highs on the 1 hour with lower time frame, fair value gap, and order block above. So that was on last week. So we'll look. Oh, that was all Friday. All right. Wow, so all this price action was last week. Okay, yeah. So we were looking at these equal highs here. Yeah, these equal highs. Boom. So it looks like that played out as I was kind of looking for it. Look out for those equal highs. Swept those. I was short, so I just messed up on my execution with this. I was short on ES, so I already did a review on that trade though. So yeah, looks like NASDAQ swept the equal highs. We did a double take. I kind of want to go to the lower, put on my, yeah, there we go. I guess it doesn't go far back enough. But I'm pretty sure these both happened in different sessions, so it makes sense that it would create a range and then break the range again. And I think that's what happened, is just got too early, got in too early. Should have waited for this high to sweep, especially since we swept these equal lows on that short setup. And it would have paid big if you look on ES. If I left a runner for some bigger targets, maybe that weekly open, prior weekly open. But whatever. That was my target right there, was this low. ES has looked like it's rebalanced the prior week's range, while it did leave a fair value gap on the weekly to fill. Yeah, there's that fair value gap. Rebalanced prior week's range, while it did leave a fair value gap. The upside has a huge wick on the highs and a market structure shift on the daily, making it seem pretty bearish, which is why I was short. So yeah, this was last Thursday. This is the close. So we had that market structure shift on Thursday, and it's a real market structure shift because of that fair value gap dip and then continuation. So yeah, we were looking really bearish, though Friday did retrace the big sell-off, so there's no real displacement. I'm changing that theory that I have, that it doesn't need to have a fair value gap, even though to have a market structure shift, it's just the candle close. not, it doesn't need to have a fair value gap, but for a setup, it does need to have a fair value gap created. But yeah, on the lower time frame, that's the thing, is it did. So yeah, nothing was wrong with that. So anyways, 4 seems to tell, yeah, more details on the candles. Respecting the prior week, new week opening gap, which was up in here, I'm pretty sure. Or, I don't remember. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, right there. But should have had my stop above that high, or which would have actually had, that's actually how I normally do it, but like I said, I got in too early, blah, 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 messed that one up. Clear market shift to the downside. I expect downside for it, but there are other things that we be careful with the Dow Jones sweeping the equal lows it manufactured. All right, looks like we're going to the Dow now. What equal lows? Mother trucker. These ones? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it broke these equal lows. Let me get my coffee. Let's use the daily. Whoa. So this was the retrace. Yeah, that might have been a little bit of a reach there with that idea. Dow is still inside the prior week range. Just based on his look to confirm with big weekly stuff, the daily chart shows a massive bearish market structure shift to the downside with no real reason to reverse until we reach further downside and discount PD arrays or even the prior swing low from April. It makes a lot of sense for the Dow to keep grinding lower until that weekly inverse fair value gap or the unfilled gaps on the daily order at the daily order blocks. On the smaller time frame, it does look like we let's see how I was using this as an order block. But this is another one on the smaller time frame. So, and this is, it's just hard because it's like if you look at a different time frame, the order block looks different. But yeah, I mean, if you use that, oh, come on, man, you know, looks pretty good. Anywho's, yeah. Yeah, so you get the idea. NASDAQ was holding up, but that was because of NVIDIA. So yeah, analysis was pretty spot on, besides maybe me being wary of the Dow coming back up. I don't think that was super valid because like it totally destroyed those equal lows that I was talking about. So that was just kind of a dumb little nuance detail there that didn't matter. DXY retraced as planned. I expect there's enough reason to, yeah, this one was spot on. Spot on, man. It delivered pretty nicely. DXY retraces as planned, and now I expect it has enough reason to continue its downside movement. Could easily swipe last week's high, which it did, in the midline of the order block, which it did. Boom. And silly me didn't even look for a setup there. I could have gotten in Euro spot, like literally did the same thing basically. Didn't have a plan on Euro GUC, that's why I missed it. Didn't even have a plan for those. Was only concerned with the things that I was already in. JPY was holding the same thing. Oil, I'm still looking for some sort of reason to get in oil because I do have conviction that it will bounce eventually. I'm thinking it needs to dig a bit deeper. I'm thinking this looks beautiful, but we'll see. This order block. So I'm just watching that. Nothing super clean. I mean, maybe short. I should have been looking short, but I've been looking for a long-term swing position trade, so I gotta have the the other things in alignment to get short. And the only thing that are in alignment are longs. So I'm waiting for a long bias to confirm on the chart. So that was not important. Silver retraced, back tested. It looks like to be heading back up, which it did. That happened early in the week. That's last Friday. Yeah. So nothing really on silver, I think. Kind of a tricky one because, I mean, look at that move down. And I'm not super familiar with, I mean, let's take a look, man. Let's take a look. I just don't like, I mean, it did create displacement, don't get me wrong. I think it wants to dig deeper into this range though. So I'll have that in the next one. Back tested, looks pretty good to get long, but I missed it. Yeah. I don't know the seasonals at the time of the setup. Has held up and retraced into fair value gap, looks pretty clean to get long. Also need the fundamentals, blah, blah, blah. Should be similar. Yeah, very similar to silver. Stronger. SMT divergence on gold to silver, with gold hitting a higher high, silver hitting a lower high. What would that mean here? Gold is the leader, so silver's being weak versus gold. So yeah, same thing on gold, maybe just a retrace. A retrace into the, it's already came down, hit a higher high, so on the weekly it looks like it wants to at least sweep liquidity. Nothing on the like daily looks super clean. I mean, that's a fair value gap order block, but that's, look at that market structure shift to the downside. Doesn't look good, man. Doesn't look too great. Didn't take a look at yields last week. The news didn't look, it wasn't too much news, I guess. Didn't do the work to put in that. Gold is somewhat bullish. Oh, okay, these are the seasonalities. So these are for my swing setups. Gold is somewhat bullish to flat till July. Silver is similar with the immediate tendency to be flat and down. Seems like in June. Yeah, so it looks like there'll be a seasonal trade that may come up here, which makes sense if these come down. Boom, it's July, time to get long. Boom, it'll all line up. Open interest, gold got dumped, silver got dumped. So I'll have to take a look at the open interests for commercials. Yeah, cool. That's the review. I'll look at, I've already done I only took a few trades last week. Oh, I didn't do my Dow Jones trade at the end of the day. Why do I get so tired? I talk a lot. Took a long on the Dow. I'll do a full recap later on this one too. Let's use this chart. Let's scoot these. We don't need that big of a placement. So I did take a loss on ES, as I was wrong about my idea, but if I had a corresponding plan for if I was wrong, should have nailed it. But anyways, we already covered that. Dow held up completely while these two got wrecked, and it held this midnight range while hitting this order block. So I got long right before this big move, and I targeted the gap fill on the Dow. So I like the idea because it was holding up, and we did hit that, that order block I pointed out on the higher time frame. So everything lined up here. because the ES was into the fair value gap. NASDAQ, where did the NASDAQ hit? Oh man, the NASDAQ reached the bottom of a range, but that's not enough to get long. I mean, the trade idea wasn't even based on NASDAQ, but just to see what other things were going for the trade. The main thing was that it was just holding up so strong after it had dumped for so long. So, just seems like there was a, what is it called? A transfer trade? No, it's like the market is like there's always a trade in the market. It's just shifting from one thing to the next. And that's what happened here. And that's like, those are the best trades. We've already seen the Dow dump. All of a sudden, these finally get the big dump that the Dow had been getting the entire time as they were diverging, and then boom, they get it, and then slingshot, rubber band back up because it held up nicely versus these other guys. And there was it took out this liquidity here and didn't displace to the downside. That was the biggest reason. The moves on the smaller time frame, I mean, it was like sometimes I look for when it doesn't create a market structure shift, because it didn't. It was like so weak. Couldn't create a shift there. Couldn't really create a shift there because it just immediately got bought back up and there wasn't anything it was shifting off of. It just dumped, and then create a higher low while these just, look at that, just straight line down. So, and then just bounced off of the midline of this as well right here. So, looked really good, looked really obvious. So that was a good one. I'll do another review on that later. So I've covered last week's game plan, did a review of that, of the price action. Obviously we took a successful long off of the reversal, and there were some key things last week, especially with like the Bitcoin trade. And this week I really learned a lot about, that sucks, I didn't even create a weekly recap. Okay, let's just do this. Bias going in the week, shorts, yikes. It's on the indices besides NQ, since it hadn't confirmed anything. I did change my mind during the week. Changed my mind a bit since on Tuesday, since I lost my short due to bad stop placement, and I let that influence my bias, even though the trade was still in play. So that was an issue that happened because nothing had really changed other than it just went a little higher. The market structure shift was still there, but that's the thing, is I needed some clarity on what really was a market structure shift. And I feel like I got that, especially after this week, because what I'm talking about is like on the daily right here. So that's a market structure shift. But then because Friday bought back up, I'm like, oh, is that a market structure shift because it got bought back up? But I realized if it is a market structure shift, it is, as long as it just closes. a candle. It doesn't need to create a fair value gap or anything. But ideally it does. That's going to be a lot bigger of like a move. Like obviously the Dow got that. Boom, fair value gap created. And then you see how big of a move down we got. And I saw that there was an idea of what a real market structure shift is, and if a real market structure shift has to shift over the area that it's shifting needs to have PD array respect. So like it has to have like I need to look more into this, but this is just the theory right now. Is like, for example, this has no, I guess it does, yeah. Like, see here, this green candle here respected this fair value gap. It dipped into the fair value gap and then made a move up and then made a higher high. So that confirmed that that was a real fair value gap that smart money used. And then we created the shift. So apparently that's kind of the idea now, is if you're looking for a shift, filter it out by only looking for shifts that respected a prior PD array. Like if it didn't have a prior PD array, then it wasn't a shift. Like this, for example, like let's say this dug deeper, but this technically there was no PD array that this is like respecting. Like there's no price action in between it. I don't know, something like that. But anyways, as long as there's a candle close with clear structure shift, that's all I'm looking for still now. So anyways, big dump with Friday reversal. News this week. Oh, what was the news this week? I remember it wasn't a crazy week. All right, last week we had consumer confidence. That was the one. Consumer confidence and unemployment claims and core PCE, and those came in. PCE came in higher. Oh, well, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Came in lower, so that wasn't good. And pending home sales were very negative, not good. And consumer confidence was higher though. So this shows that I think that's showing that there's still inflation and the economy isn't doing as good, even though the Fed is probably thinking it's not. But whatever, man. Consumer confidence. I feel like consumer confidence happened last week too. It's so weird. Core, PCE, and home. Things done well. Was spot on with 95% of TA. Great looks on DXY and structure. Oh, and the weakness. I knew we would have on NQ versus others on Friday. So I knew there'd be really, let me just dive into this. On Friday, I knew we'd be really weak on NASDAQ versus the others because none of this had happened yet. But just here, NASDAQ was obviously weaker, just going into it. But the thing was the flow. Looking at the flow, it was like the market tide, which is skewed because of NVIDIA lately, was super bearish versus the net premiums on just SPY. And then NASDAQ has a higher weighting with NVIDIA, which I literally, in my last stream, I literally went over that, pretty sure. I like looked it up and saw that it was higher, like 6% versus 1% weighting in the indexes. So yeah, if I had been able to pivot short instead of long as the Dow took these highs, failed, and these couldn't even get there, I could have nailed a short here, if not in here after the market structure shift, for who knows how big of a trade that would have been. So at least 5R, because this low would have been my first target. So yeah, things to improve. Trusting big movements in the flow, in the net flow. Trusting big movements in the net flow, having a plan for the updated market price action, because once the Dow swept that high Friday morning, I should have had a new plan. I should have been like, okay, now that we swept the high, we could just go down now because it failed. So should have had that, and then the puts spiked. So if I just had a plan to get short, I would have not only probably stopped out break even, but I would have also caught a short. If not, I would have just saved money on my loss. So anyways, things to improve. Not letting a loss change my analysis. I let that swing trade on Friday affect how I saw the market still. Like, I was biased short, as you saw last week, and then I had a bad stop placement on the ES, and I got stopped out, and I'm like, oh, that must mean it's going to go up. But that has absolutely nothing to do. It was just I got stopped out. So I could have just got in again if I just stuck with my plan. So one thing I can do now, okay, I think the biggest thing I can do is have a plan for situational things, both directions, and updating those plans as things happen in the market, such as the short on Friday I could have nailed, and the short, and the long in Forex as I saw the DXY idea. What have I learned this week? Trust my analysis and trade off of it until it's invalidated. What were the days I should have traded or took a break? I shouldn't have traded or took a break. I've been doing really good at this. None. I've been really good at, like, literally this was a huge problem for me, but I feel like I've almost completely fixed it, where I know kind of when to stay out because I don't see anything. I did 100% this week. How was my sleep? Been terrible again. Last week's sleep was bad too. Terrible. Well, it wasn't all terrible. 50-50. Couldn't fall asleep. And then, yeah, couldn't fall asleep. That was kind of the biggest issues. All right, this stuff I need to update. This isn't even applicable anymore. This is just like my journal, but I did like 3 workouts. didn't meditate. 0. We need to get back on the meditation. All right, that's the full recap. And now we're going to start the weekly analysis and game plan. Now that we've seen everything that's happened to me and the markets, time to make a game plan, but I feel like I need a little break. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Just gonna step away from it and get a drink. Turn on the AC too. I guess I can leave the AC on because my little Mikey, I don't think it'll pick it up, yeah. All right. Just need to stand up for a minute. It's getting tired. Okay, let's stop. Indices. Let's just look at, we've already kind of looked at them, so this should be pretty quick now. So I always try to mark out everything again as this slow isn't even important. So as we go again, so fair value gap there, that got filled, boom, ba-bang. This is the next logical area. Weekly fair value gap, if we keep going lower. Just mark that out. But I think we're bullish. That looks great. So filled this daily fair value gap. Now we just have a swing low here. Make that green. Buy side liquidity. All right, roll right. Then relative equal highs. These are gone. This is gone. That's gone. I don't know what these are. Okay, yeah, we got a daily gap there. Even though we're partially filled, I'm still gonna label that. Daily gap down. And it's at 50%, so I kind of like that area. Holy, this candle is just crazy. All right. That must be gone. Just gonna label that high. I don't know what the hell that is. All right, 4 hour. Cool. So gaps are filled. Here's an order block. Nothing special really looking in the 4 hour. Interesting. 1 hour. Yeah. Weakness through here, because these ones are not, this failed right here. Yeah, this is the range here we're looking for. I'm looking long. Well, this looks bearish, but with that buy up here, closing above that, Nasdaq kind of a hard read unless you go to the smaller time frame. Doesn't look that bullish, especially after that move. Even though we did got bought back up, closed respecting that order block. So interesting. Like to see how it comes back down. I think that's the logical thing to do, is retrace back down here. Nothing on the time frame that for a market structure shift. SMT on lower time frame for weakness. Could grind lower before we head back up to fulfill the bullish. This just needs work. It's kind of hard. I mean, that's retrace of the range. That's a hard one. I mean, technically that's a market structure shift. 4 hour. Is there a market structure shift there? 4 hour market structure shift. Yeah, got popped back up. Yeah, seems bearish. Bearish bias, especially with the SMT. Because if you look here, boom, look at that. These are screaming up. So, yes. Yes. Order block. Market structure shift. Bullish. Yeah, bullish, man. Bullish. Still got a fair value gap here now still on the weekly. And took out most chunk of it. Let's delete some of this crap. I like having that previous high though on there. So weekly looks good. Looks like this just wants to go higher. So, oh, whoops. There was a fair value gap there, but that's basically closed in. New week opening gap, previous week opening gap. That gap got filled. Yeah. And this looks bullish to me. For our March structure shift. Looks like it could retrace for a long setup. That's a daily. We need to mark this out. Daily. And let's change the color to rojo. And let's mark out this. I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna delete all this. What is that? You know what? No, I'm getting rid of this. All right. I'm gonna get this tool back on. Sell side liquidity. Whoops. Sell side liquidity. Yeah, I think this is the target we're looking for, and this fair value gap for the higher time frame. Is there anything on the daily? No. There are 4-hour fair value. What's going on? That's a 4-hour fair value gap. Looks like we filled that one. Let's label that. I'm just gonna mark it out just because it's maybe an important level. Oh, that's an inverse fair value gap too right there. Interesting. Makes sense. Yeah. Mark out this low. Right side liquidity. So, I mean, it's got back into premium. Looks like we could pull back. I mean, you could mark this as a huge order block. So, yeah, let's look for a retrace into at least a discount of this bar. So, yeah, once we get back into this area, let's look for oh, excuse me. On the other charts, and the Dow is going to be pretty similar, honestly. Got a lot of old stuff on here I gotta delete. Massive void. Oh, we do have a new month. Interesting. Let's look at these ones real quick. This last, yeah, we just kind of enveloped that whole candle. That's crazy. Anyways, let's get back to it. Weekly, just came back into these wicks here. Yeah, it just looks like it came back to accumulate or distribute. How this order block with a bounce up, nothing on the daily to create a shift yet. This is a daily fair value gap, so we'll mark that out. Make it, what was I making these color for the upside? Red. Lots of daily fair value gaps. We're inside of one right now. Daily fair value gap, daily fair value gap. There's another one in here. We'll just ignore that for now. Mark out these swing lows. These are obvious buy-side liquidity. Don't really need to label them, but whatever. And here's an inverse fair value gap here. Inverse fair value gap with a fair value gap. So maybe tough getting all the way back up. But that is a clear market structure shift to the upside. With this inverse fair value gap, we could look for this candle to retrace 50%, you know, for long setup, maybe even into this low, this inverse fair value gap. But yeah, tough read on this one. I mean, it's just going up in a straight line, going down in a straight line. Hard to really say. Hourly, yeah, this intermediate, term bullish with the market structure shift. 4 hour still looks weak, but as of right now, upside is likely similar to yes for long pullback to discounts. Okay. Alright, now we can jump to something else finally. Oof. DXY. Relative equal highs, order block. Whoops. Weekly fair value gap. Let's change this color to green. Weekly fair value gap. Technical shift. What is this? Daily previous inverse fair value gap. You can delete that. It closed above that, and now it's just fighting this area. So yeah. Weekly market structure shifts, very weak. So I'm still kind of waiting for clarity here. Weekly order block, still respecting that. This is gone. I mean, yeah, this is just pretty straightforward. Sell side liquidity below there, or buy side liquidity. Just mark this one out first. Nothing in here to confirm. The daily, though, there is a market structure shift. Yeah, so daily looks bearish. Bearish on daily. Rejected. Weekly OB. Four-hour. Bearish. Structure shift. Could come and retrace this. Who knows? Manufactured relative equal lows on 4 hour. Still looks bearish though. So, yeah. Could come down here, bounce again, and then come down. So, this is the clear target area though for now. So, yeah, just waiting for this to come lower into the swing, the higher time frame for value gap, below swing lows, shorts on Forex pairs and GU look good if we do come back into a discount for a short or a premium, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. All right. Yeah, these ones, honestly, I'm not really looking too hard at these besides Euro and GU, but that's kind of the same plan. Ignore the spelling. Doesn't really matter. So let's just quickly recover these and then we'll call it. And then I'm gonna study a little bit. So yeah, same thing here. Failed here on Euro. Euro GLI chart has failed to create displacement, but has respected weekly fair value gap. Get rid of whatever that is. Yeah. Looks great. Wait. Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. Four-hour looks very chart looks still very bullish besides the deep pullback on, what was that, Thursday? No, that's Friday. It did not take out prior swing high. But the 1 hour look created a market structure shift and may just be pulling back. So long entry may be on the table if we get low enough, and GU and DXY both confirm. So yeah, I mean, this comes back into this fair value gap. I'm not super liking getting long into this. I'd have to wait to see if there's something special on the DXY, you know, something clean. We could use this inverse fair value gap within this. I mean, this could be a good area right here, but like I said, I don't like that sharp move down. This could just come and sweep this low before it finally goes up. So could sweep swing low before heading back up. Probably the same thing here on the GU. Oh, displacement on the pound. This pair does have steps to the upside. We on the weekly. Nothing on the daily. Looks much more bullish than EU, with SMT showing strength versus EU. Higher highs, or higher lows and higher highs versus lower lows and lower highs. So, I mean, yeah, that one, 4 hour has failed above the prior swing. All respecting this fair value gap here and this order block. Let's make this green. Just want to mark that out because that's kind of what's holding this trade up. Double dipped. So this will tell us the pictures, this 1 hour chart. That's a market structure shift. And another market structure shift. But market structure shift on 1 hour on every swing. So long could be here right about now. Could get in small size, risking the small lower time frame displacement. Yeah, let's look at that on 15. That's a market structure shift coming down, but not super strong. Oh, yeah, I don't like that actually. Lower time frame doesn't look as good as 1 hour. So long into deeper back like EU. This pair seems stronger though, so we'll wait for sell side, buy side liquidity to be taken on all pairs. EU, DXY, EU. Okay, that's the plan. Looking for something clean. This one looks the same. Ever just holding my short. Seems likely for either a stop out or trade or PT. Nothing clear yet. All right. Summary. Long pullbacks in indices while DXYMA comes down. No. Longing GU if is taken. Okay, yeah, that's about it, man. I think I might also look at some Bitcoin just before we leave, but I don't really like Bitcoin as much anymore. Yeah, this could come lower. Honestly, could be looking short, but if the dollar is going to come down, I don't want to short these risk assets. So clear SMTs, power of 3. Oh, clear power of 3s. What am I looking at? I want to go look back at GU. So looks like to go to the shorter time frame. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, accumulation, manipulation. Yeah, this could, yeah. I'm gonna wait for this to clear up. Maybe it takes this low out. Same thing with this bad boy. It's not super clear. Dollar, I mean, it had a huge wick there. Though it could just keep coming down, so. It might just come down here. It's already retraced to get them out, but it didn't take out sell side, so that's the thing. Whereas I need to do this chart. This is gold, euro. Let's inverse this just to make it easier, man. Invert scale. So yeah. Euro looks a lot more similar to the dollar, but it has swept this high. So that might explain the weakness here. And then pound has also swept it, but it's just holding so much stronger. So, I mean, this is all liquidity voids. Whereas euro has its liquidity void into this same area though. So that could explain it. Let's look for something clear here. If I was gonna get long, it would have been here, would have been there, missed it. So just gonna have to wait for some sort of liquidity to be taken on something. I think this could come in. Yeah, I think I like that liquidity to be taken first if I'm gonna get long again. Because I want to trade this as a longer term swing for targets up here, you know. Bitcoin, I don't care about it anymore. Yeah. I don't want to put too much on my table, so I'm just going to be watching these currency pairs and the indices. So we're just waiting for things to clear up there. Pull back on the indices. Oh, let's do the flow analysis too. Whatever. So Friday, refresh this. Friday, super bullish net flow. Market tide though, very bearish. So we could get a pullback because of Nvidia. Q's also bullish. Versus holdings, bearish, yeah. So conflicting. So I think move down from NVIDIA, but eventually up for a little bit. Not sure how far, but those targets we outlined. And then what were we looking at? DIA. This one's just iffy. I don't know how much I should listen to the Dow Jones. So yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. We got it all out. I might just cover these later, but I'm getting pretty tired, so I don't want to confuse myself. All right, well, thanks for watching the stream. That's the plan, that's the review, and I'm gonna go study, and I'll see you all and myself tomorrow. Goodbye.